We have the story of the JoJo reference in Eldlich for some reason. Alright, we have Eldlich for you today. Check out our friends at tradingcardmit.com down below. Enter MCO40 and save on your purchase. So this is some very, very early testing for Post-Alliance Insight. I'm slowly going to be figuring out what I want to do with this. The deck does have a lot of problems. I don't think anybody's going to argue that too much, especially, if you're trying to play a back row deck in a meta like this, especially with skill drain limited to 1. You don't exactly get the free chicken nuggies right now. So we are playing triple copies of the Golden Lord. Cool fact, by the way, this is a monster that possesses 2,500 attack points, which means for the new counter trap card, we can actually play that, and that actually is very, very important to think about. I am testing triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in here. I think that there is a argument to actually cut the hand traps that I was testing in this build. The reason why I was even attempting to play hand traps in this was you're looking for ways to slow down your opponent, but the way that you need to play this deck is, you got to plan to win the dice roll and attempt to go nuts, which is why I'm kind of defending this card in here. So we are playing triple copies of Fool Loss. We don't have Maxi, which means we have to play this deck a little bit, I'm not going to say worse off, but the problem is, with how the meta is kind of structured right now, this card ensures that the opponent is going to, probably end on a subpar board, or they're just going to play into it, give you 10, 11 cards, and then go, all right, we'll do your worst. Now, as an Eldlich player, I hate to fundamentally tell you this, but you are very limited in what you can do at a turn. Your turn is set 5 back row and hope for the best with maybe a Golden Lord and a field spell coming down. So you're going to have to shape up, sculpt the best options that you can actually find to, get to that best board to do your thing. So that's our monster lineup. Obviously, if you think your meta is going to be a lot worse, just play, Eldliches and these. You also, important thing that I didn't mention here, because of Bystials running around, you have to consider playing 3 of these. We are now back at the point that this card is very important at the 3 of, and you have to consider that. All right, very, very, very important. All right, so this was our new card. We got a Supreme Darkness, which kind of has made this deck into a little bit better of a creature. It mills the Golden Lord on activation, gives you something to basically tribute, and then it can add itself back to hand, which is fantastic, by the way. Things that zombies didn't really need for 500, but it's fine. Does this thing do anything else? It sends level 5, and then, it makes the token. Yeah, so the token allows you to make Angel here, which is really, really good. There was no reason that this card should even be allowing you to do the interactions with this card, but we got there, and it's actually something really interesting. Now, because our field spell is so bonkers, we are playing the copy of Terraforming to get to this, because Delta of Temptation is just amazing. We are doing 2 copies of Cursed Outland. I think that 2 is fine. There is an argument to get really cheeky with this deck and play Foolish Burial Goods in here, and then combo it up and actually play, the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation as well, and try out things like that, because Delta of Temptation is such an important card. I don't necessarily hate that idea either. Getting the Foolish Burials in here allows you to drop, the traps down, so you can actually set up the appropriate names that you need anyway. So there's a lot to work with in terms of things. And then we are playing 1 copy of Pot of Prosperity. You don't really you do care about your extra deck, but you don't care about your extra deck at the same time. The Pot of Prosperity ensures that you can get to the whatever option that you need. Allows you to find the appropriate card to try to answer your opponent's field, and that's very, very good. So that's your spell lineup. All right. We've also got your Scarlet Sanguines. This is still probably your better option for this deck. This deck actually is terrible when you get Ash on this, though, because you're going to have a terrible time. And that's the experience of the deck, honestly. Activate Scarlet Sanguine. Oh, okay, sorry. You popped me? Feels bad. We've also got your triple copies of Conk. Conk is still the best answerable card that we can have. But the problem is there's so much gas and so many extenders in this format that you're just going to get ran down. We have 2 copies of Higuero. This is going to be your spot removal from the graveyard. He's also the bigger friend of the 2, but their age is showing in terms of their power creep. Now, this is one of our cool new cards. This actually is an Eldlich and a Golden Land card. So you can search this on whichever side of the equation you're going to. It'll let you pay 800 and do one of 2 things. We can beam this thing on out as a normal monster that's level 10 with 15 and 2800 defense, or we can set one of your banished Golden Land or Eldlichs. So for a cost of 800, we can loop back on into a conch that we banished on the previous turn and start setting up for the additional disruption. That's the whole purpose of this, is why you choose to play the one of it, and it does what you need it to do. Now, we are playing 1 copy of the Counter Trap card for the Golden Land Forever, attributing the zombie to basically do whatever you want to do with it. Once again, I said earlier, the hand traps are up for the discussion of being cut. Still pretty good, though. This card was actually nuts. Destructive Jeruma Cannon. We are in a situation, like, I wanted to test Torrential Tribute. We did in the very early builds for this. Torrential was okay. It at least ensured that you would be able to clear field, but this also allows you to clear field. The only thing that makes a difference is you lose your Eldlich, which, I mean, depending on how that came up, okay. We're also playing triple copies of Solemn Judgment, just a little bit of extra protection for your Floodgates. And unfortunately, Goes in Rivalry aren't really too good right now, because everything is dark, or, Cyverse, or, depending on your matchup, it could be a little bit better, but this is going to be probably the better Floodgate, just to make sure that you can tell your opponent no. We've also got this incredibly broken card. It's amazing. We are also playing your 1 copy of your Anti-Spell Fragrance in here as well. No spells for your opponent, which is good. We also have the Embodiment of the Apophis. This gives you some extra negates, which is solid. And we are playing the Dragon's Mind in here. So if you have a monster whose original attack or defense is 2500, when you're playing activate the spell, trap card, or monster effect, it's a free counter. And then you pay 2500 life points to reset it to the field, but banish it when it leaves the field, which is actually not bad. Now, this card right here. This is the thing that allows Eldlich to actually work right now. So it is an Eldlich plus a zombie monster, but you can actually special summon this from the extra deck by tributing a light zombie monster while you have an Eldlich the Golden Lord on your field or in your graveyard. And then if this is sent to the graveyard from the field, you can special summon 1 Eldlich monster from your deck or extra deck. So this actually allows you to cheat out Mr. Big Angry Golden Lord here, which is actually hilarious. They made you have the ability to get to the 3,800 higher. I will tell you, though, sometimes it's better to pull the Golden Lord out of the deck so you have the body on the field, which, I mean, hey, we take those. We are playing 2 copies of Link Spider. This is just to kind of convert, so you can actually do things. There is an argument to play like Imduke or something like that, depending on, what you needed. We also have the Vampire Sucker in here, just the generic zombie. Of course, the Mary. This card's hilarious. And of course, we have 2 copies of the Silver Hat Rabbit. This is basically the Rhoda of the deck now, and also, if you establish this, your opponent is going to have a little bit of an issue trying to out it, things I've learned. You have the 1 Varutus. This does come up a lot. You put this on the field as the big oppressor to check your opponent. And then, of course, we have Gustav, and then Super Unfun Weeby Man to punish your opponent. And then, of course, we do play the Typhoon, depending on what your opponent does. And then, of course, we have Zeusy Boy to clear up the field. Overall, I think that this deck it's actually a lot of fun. You're still playing back row control options in the year 2025. You just got to understand that with that, though, that the deck is a lot slower than what you would really be thinking. Most of your good floodgates aren't going to get you the value that I think you're going to be wanting for them, and it's not like the worst thing in the world. But check out our friends at TradingCardMint.com down below. Enter MCO40 and save on your purchase. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.